have the inner fender well here. As you can see, it's got a hole in it, so we're going to replace it. Underneath, you have the forward-facing mud flap. There's a clip in here we'll have to save and use on the new piece. Screw up here on the front, but this has been damaged, so we'll just have to remove the screw. You can see there was some other damage that they tried to tie wrap around. Another bolt, a series of panel pins all the way around. And then on the back side here, a series of 10mm bolts on the back here that we'll have to remove. Part of the issue I've run into removing this are these square screw keepers they used to put the fender in. It appears they put the inner fender well in first, then used these to snap it into place, and then ran screws in on top of it. So you have to cut the fender well free of these locking tabs, these plastic tabs. I got the last one out, but they have these square tabs, and they've put them on behind the fender, so in order to get it out you have to pull these out. Unfortunately, you can't get to these because the inner fender well is put on before the plastic trim piece. So to do it right, you'd actually have to take this piece off to get to it. So I've simply cut it, and then I'll just wedge them in between the pieces and put the screws in to hold it. So I've got the new piece laying there next to the old piece. It looks pretty close. All the pieces seem to match up, so we'll go ahead and put it in. So while I got the inner fender well out, I'll take time to look at the inside. Down here in the bottom, there is some rust starting to form, so I'll have to take care of that before I put the new piece in. There's some plugs and other plastic pieces in here. So looking the rest of the way around, I've got some wiring up in here. There's the back of the front turn signal. It's easy to change here, but pain to take the inner fender liner out. And down here is the front fog light. I took the mud flap off the old piece. There's two bolts and a metal plate in here, and it's held in. They took the plate and bent it. There's some holes, so you have to squeeze it, lift it out, put it in the new one here, and then squeeze it into place. Then the backing plate will hold itself while you bolt the front mud flap in. On this one, I broke one of the old bolts, so I used one OEM bolt and one replacement bolt and got it back into place. You want to pick a nice warm day when you put the liner back in. The front part here went okay. It's pretty well fits right into place. You just have a little flexing here, and underneath you have to slide it into the two tabs that bolt to the actual grill. The rest of it is some panel pins and stuff. Being an aftermarket part, the holes are close but not quite, so you'll have to work at it a little bit. The part here closest to the driver footwell was a different story. Again, on the original car, the liner was put on and then the plastic cladding. So we're doing it the opposite way, and there's a notch in here where the cladding lines up. So you really have to take this and work it to get it into the groove, because again, it's doing it backwards. So you want a tool kind of like this, something with a hook on the end, and you kind of have to work it in there. And it took a while, took me probably about 15 minutes, just slowly working at it. Be patient, and you got to work it, and eventually you'll see where it starts lining up to your holes. The next biggest issue was the plastic tabs. This car is about 9 years old, and they pretty well disintegrated when I took it apart. I did found that the Dorman splash shield retainers, in this case part 96321, seem to be a suitable replacement for this 2005 Vibe. Also, down here I had put mud flaps in, and I was never very happy with the OEM hardware. I used these short screws. So I went ahead and bought some larger stainless screws, a little longer. They'll hold the mud flap in. There's nothing behind there, but you do have that keeper, which is a somewhat length, so you have to make sure to get a very close size. But again, I wanted something a little longer to better secure the mud flap.